Attorney General Loretta Lynch, she's announced that the FBI will release transcripts today of Omar Mateen's 911 calls during last week's deadly attack, but saying on NBC's Meet the Press that the transcripts will be edited to remove Mateen's allegiances to the Islamic State and his motives for the attack.
What we're not going to do is further proclaim this individual's pledges of allegiance to terrorist groups and further his propaganda.
So we're not going to hear him talk about those things.
We will hear him talk about some of those things, but we're not going to hear him make his assertions of allegiance and that.
All right, Lynch heads to Orlando tomorrow to be briefed on the FBI investigation that is now focused on Mateen's wife, Noor Salman. The AG declining to comment on why Salman has not been arrested amid evidence that she helped her husband plot the June 12th murders while appearing on Fox News Sunday. Joining me now is conservative columnist Gina Loudon. Gina, good to have you here.
Good to be with you. Thanks.
All right. So first of all, what do you make of editing out Omar Mateen's allegiances? That we know that when he walked into that nightclub to kill those people, that he pledged his allegiance to ISIS. We're being told now that that is going to be edited out of the transcripts.
That's what they're saying is being edited out of the transcript. All we really know is that they've decided, for whatever reason, in a very Pravda-esque move, in my opinion, to edit part of the transcript as if the American people can't handle adult, to know some adult information. This is not the way America operates. This is not what we've ever seen from a government, and we will never know exactly what is being edited out and who's to trust this administration after everything that they've done.
But of course, sometimes what we do hear from the White House is we don't want to glorify an event like this by publishing something like that. Will be another side of the story.
That's the motivation, for sure.
Well, maybe that's the public motivation, but I think that really and truly it's because they're trying to frame this incident as a gun incident, not an issue of terrorism. And so, if they can remove any references to it, then I think that's the motive behind it.
Did they really think the American public's blind to that, or they just don't care? On the margins, maybe they influence somebody.
It's against their interest to feed it.
Well, on the left, they talk about gun control and then this being a hate crime driven by homophobia, but they won't talk about the homophobia that is a tenet
None of these things are
radical
Islam. Exactly.
Or even the Islamic religion itself, even the Muslim religion itself. The homophobia is part of that.
What they refuse to acknowledge is that it's possible that it can be gun violence and terrorism and homophobia. It is all of these things. And so for us to have this one-track mind that it can only fit into one of these buckets really prevents us from preventing these from happening in the future.
All right, Gina, I also want to get to the response to the terror attack in Orlando. Presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump saying that the U.S. needs to consider starting to racially profile. Listen to this, and I want your response on the other side.
Profiling is something that we're going to have to start thinking about as a country, and other countries do it. And you look at Israel, and you look at others, and they do it, and they do it successfully. And, I hate the concept of profiling, but we have to start using common sense.
All right, so Gina, he says he hates the concept, but this is a common sense move in the wake of this attack.
It is because this is a war. And I think that's the part of this that is being left out of a lot of the conversation, especially with other media, that they just don't want to talk about the fact that this is a war. When we were at war with Germany, we didn't say, oh, well, there are a lot of nice German people, so we're not going to profile German people. Yes, we were. In that case, there was a convenience of a geographic location. In this, we don't have that luxury. So if grandma doesn't have to get patted down in the airport anymore, and my 9-year-old daughter doesn't have to be groped in an airport line anymore, and somebody's going to be profiled, I'm totally okay with that. And I think that most Americans feel that way.
Well, I just want to bring up the point that undercover police officers used to go into mosque here in New York City, which Mayor de Blasio put to an end about 2 years ago. So that was a critical part. But again, there's this politically correct backlash that has happened. And even people who are crying about people's civil liberties. Yeah. One of the FBI's critical tools that it's used are informant-led sting operations. They've had to do that because of their lack of resources. And people are up in arms about that, but those sting operations have led to 90 different Americans being charged with, related to terror plots. This is a critical part of how we're fighting terror. And if we do anything that's more PC-driven, it's going to hurt the nation as a whole.
This is why Donald Trump was questioning Barack Obama's motives, which I don't endorse that line of thought that, somehow Obama, is complicit. But it really does make you wonder, this whole PC agenda, if it really could lead to endangering American lives, at what cost are we politically correct in this country? And have we taken it too far? And, with these stings in New York mosques, I mean, it sounds like there was a very productive program. And so ending it just to appease the PC agenda here in New York just doesn't make sense. I can't wrap my head around what their motives are.
Ray Kelly can't either.
We can argue it's already cost wars.
Yeah, Gina?
And Sandra, this is the thing. Let's not forget, in France, in countries that are smaller that have higher Muslim populations, which is the direction the United States is going, they're already shutting down mosques. We will eventually be profiling and investigating mosques. It's just a matter of how much worse we're going to let this problem get, how many Americans have to die before we actually make those decisions, because, like I said, we are at war.
All right, Gina Loudon, thank you for joining us. Good to have you. All right, coming up, record temperatures sweeping across